So, what made you want to write a book?
I made me want to write a book. I've always wanted to be a writer since I was young. I used to write poems to girls, and I used to write poems of my own. I was actually uploaded some on poetry.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a friend that was in the Navy with me. He wrote a book, and I was shocked. I was like, if you should write a book, anybody can write a book. And I had the skills as well. So, me already having the knowledge and wanting to be a writer, I decided to, write a book, fictional book.
Mm-hmm. So, how long did it take you to finish your first book?
It took me about 6 months to finish my first book because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of distractions when you sit down and actually try to do something good. That's what anything you do is going to come with obstacles and distractions when you're trying to be great. You have to be focused. I had to get focused and turn my phone off. Sometimes go in a room, take an hour or two a day. You'll find that when you're trying to do something, whether it's going to school, whether it's trying to do homework or whatever, it's always something important that'll come up. Somebody might hit you up and say, "Hey, let's go to the movie. Let's go out and play ball, or let's do this." Or somebody may call you, and everything is important all of a sudden when you're trying to do something great. So you just have to have great time management and shut things down and get it done.
What type of genre do you base some of your books on?
Well, my best book, quotes my grandmother used to say, is inspirational. And I wrote that book because my grandmother, she dropped out of school in fifth grade. She had 11 kids, and I wanted to do something special for her. So I decided to put her in a published book. And when I started writing the book, other people took interest to the book, and they started reaching out to me and said, "Hey, my grandmother had quotes and things like that, and they would say things like, a hard head make a soft behind, and all different quotes that their grandma used to say." So I ended up having about 300 quotes in the book, but the most inspirational moment for me was one of the grandmothers. She was in a hospital on a dying bed, and she had my book with her, and they posted it on Facebook. And when she passed away, her daughters showed me the picture, and they was like, she was so happy to be able to know that she was in an actual published book. That was one of her biggest accomplishments, and that made me feel really good. My other book was Trustworthy, which is an erotic book.
Who are the main characters in your book Trustworthy?
Main characters are Karen and Jamal. Karen, she's in a relationship and she decided to go to a counselor to seek advice from the counselor, but she found out the counselor is more to the counselor than than meets the eye. And Jamal is having he's married. He's been a he was pretty boy his whole life. He's trying to change, he's going through these changes and everything. And his wife thought the grass was greener on the other side, and she ended up choosing someone else. And Jamal was down, but when Jamal got up, his wife wanted to come back. So it's a funny book, it's an erotic book, a very good book.
Hmm. When did you get the idea to come up with the Trustworthy book?
Um, I wanted to write something based on my friends. A lot of the events are true. So a lot of the events are things that happen in my friends' lives, but I just changed the characters around. And I always thought that their lives were very interesting. I wanted to put that in a book, and it is crazy.
What genre does your book Trustworthy represent?
Erotic, romance, romantic, erotic.
Can you tell me some key stories about your book Trustworthy?
Like I mentioned before, like I just mentioned before, Jamal was a player all his life. He ended up getting married. His wife thought he was still a player. Um, so she was cheating on him, but he was actually being faithful. He wasn't cheating, but he wasn't making as much as he used to make. So she went out and she started, playing games with him and things of that nature. And he started actually messing with his uncle and thinking the grass was greener on the other side. And once he continued to work hard. And once he made it, she wanted to come back. So it's the Trustworthy is a book for everybody, for every genre, every gender, every race. So it's a very remarkable book.
What character backstory do you like the most that you have created?
Kind of what? Say that again.
What character backstory do you like the most that you have created?
The backstory that I like the most. I would have to say Zeke. Zeke is a character in the book and Trustworthy. I gave him that name because one of my best friends, his name was Zeke, and he passed away. And I wanted to create a character um, of Zeke in the book, which is in the book. Zeke is a smart guy that manipulates everybody. And this is not my best friend's character. I just used his name and his remembrance. But yeah, Zeke in the book is a dirty guy, and his characteristics are crazy. You just have to read it.
Hmm. Sound like an interesting story, but sorry for your loss.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Hmm. What made you want to become an act author?
Actually, when you write a book, you automatically become a author. I never wanted to be an author. I always used to think, when I was younger, we was in school, when people would say, "Oh, this person published a book, this person is an author of this," and Mark Twain and all these huge authors, I thought that was a huge thing. But when I thought it was more to it, than to be an author when I was younger. But all I did was write a book. And your teacher tells you that all the time. Writing and reading is very important,
Hmm.
right? But I never did understand that until I wrote a book. And when I wrote my first book and I posted, hey, I got this book out on Amazon, go get it. It was on Books a Million, Barnes and Nobles, go pick it up. And everybody was like, oh, you're a published author. That's great. Congratulations. They treated me like I was this huge celebrity, but all I did was write a book. And I always, and at that moment, I realized what, why it's so important. It was, my teachers were saying the writing and reading and all that is so important because people love writers. People love when you publish a book. People love when you do stuff like that because it makes people look at you like you're intelligent, like you're nerdy. Nerdy is cool now.
Hmm.
So it gives people a sense of that drawback of, okay, he's not what I thought he was, or she's not what I thought she was. He's a very intelligent person. It takes a lot to sit down and write a book.
Are you planning on making any cartoon animation shows in the near future?
Um, that's a good question. Again, I have thought about it before. But that is something to look into, especially with trustworthy, not trustworthy, especially with quotes my grandma used to say. To make that animated would be awesome.
Hmm. Have you ever written a poem?
Yes, I've written several poems. Yes, I have.
What type of advice would you give writers to overcome writer's block?
Time management. Set some time aside, and also stay focused. Like I said, turn your phone off. Go in a room, get locked in. Um, if you really, really, really want it, it's something that you really want. It's just like whether you're going to get a degree or something like that is very important to you. You have to manage your life. You have to manage your time. You have to figure out what's important to you. So you have to turn off that phone. You have to lock yourself in. Um, or sometimes, take a break. When you're writing constantly, take a break. Go get go get a drink. Go get some water with a coffee. Take a break and then come back. Because when the mind is working and working and working, and sometimes you get stuck, it's okay. Or pick up and call somebody. I know I said take your phone off, but go pick up and call somebody, and they might say something crazy and make you want to say, man, you know what? I might put this in my book, um, and then go back. But still block that time out for just you.
True. So, who inspired you to be where you are right now?
Who inspired me? My grandfather and my grandmother. Some funny people, very intelligent people as well. They inspired me. They were my inspiration because they came from nothing. And anytime somebody can give you lemons and you make lemonade out of it, is awesome, right? So
Hmm.
they're my inspiration. A lot of people pick famous people or rich people or talented people to be their inspiration, or Michael Jordan or Jay Z or Tyler Perry, because they made it. They made it. They see where they are now. It's hardly ever you see people who pick somebody who's low or who don't have that much money
Right.
as their inspiration. But just because you're not rich and have a lot of money or the nicest car or the nicest house doesn't mean that you can't inspire somebody else to be great. And my grandmother and my granddaddy was my absolutely inspiration,
Well, you was raised by great people.
right? Yes.
So, what college did you attend and graduate from?
Strayer University. I'm actually still going to Strayer University. After school, I went straight into the military. I'm retired military, U.S. Navy. I started out as an operations specialist with Intel tracking aircraft, ships, and submarines. My last 10 years in the U.S. Navy, I was a career recruiter. So I
Hmm.
recruited in the HR field. So after that, I said, you know what? I want to go and get my degree. Not because I needed it, because I had so much experience and connections that I could get another career, which I'm in my career, which is talk shows. But I wanted to get my degree. That's something that was a personal goal that I had for myself. And I'm in Strayer University, and I would tell anybody, go and get your degree because you're more marketable with your degree.
What major did you graduate from in college?
I haven't graduated from Strayer yet, but I'm taking up marketing.
Hmm. And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, marketing is what moves the world, right?
Hmm.
Branding and marketing. You can be an entrepreneur, but it's nothing without marketing. If you have a restaurant, nobody's going to come if they don't know about it. So marketing can be Uh, many you can do marketing many of ways: social media marketing, digital marketing, referral, word of mouth. All of that is a part of marketing.
Hmm. So, do you have any more future goals you would like to accomplish?
Yes, so I want to graduate from Australia. I have a show called the Kid Meeks Show on Tubi. I want to get it on Netflix and maybe one day be on ABC, NBC. Um, Tubi is a good network, but ABC, NBC is a major network. So I want to see my my show on those platforms. Also, I do gun violence walks every year in a community. I want to continue to do those gun violence walks, and I also do a gala every year for the older women and men, 60 and above. Because, with a lot of older women and grandmothers, they don't have anything to do. The kids have things to do. Young adults have things to do. They go to the lounges and go to the bar. But most older people, they only go to church.
Hmm.
So I wanted to have a gala for
Right.
the older people to go to. So that's what I do. I try to do that once a year.
So, what speech did you say to the audience that got the audience to understand and actually take your word?
What you mean?
Like, say like you went on stage or anywhere just to bring out your own speech and for everyone else to hear, which is the audience, and for the audience to understand and actually accept your speech.
Well, I don't. It's nothing special that I say to the audience. I just be myself. I would tell anybody when you're trying to be a motivated speaker or you're trying to speak to different people, just take your time, breathe slowly, be yourself because you never know. Your character it might not be for everybody, but somebody in the crowd may pick up on it. Everybody's different, right? It's a market for everybody's personality, believe it or not.
Hmm.
So I just go out there, I be myself. And recently, my favorite thing that I tell people is, especially in the job market, I don't know if you watch um, football, but Nick Saban, one of his favorite things, which
Hmm.
was you're not looking for a job, looking for an opportunity. That's why I would tell kids nowadays, don't look for a job, look for an opportunity. You can
Hmm.
go to college and play football, but if you're looking for an opportunity, you might ride that bench the first year. But guess what? You're on the team.
Right.
And eventually you're going to get put in the game.
That is true.
So that's your chance to be everything that you can be. So don't just look for a job. Anybody can work a job. Look for a great opportunity that can become a career.
Right. So, what hometown did you grow up in?
I grew up in Drew, Mississippi, population 2,000 people.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a younger brother and an older sister. My sister is 1 year older than me.
Do you have any other family members who publish any books?
No, just me. I'm the only published author in our family.
Mhm.
Well, besides, I have a cousin, Lamar Washington, who published a book.
Mm. Do you have any insight or knowledge about Lamar Washington book?
I don't. I haven't read it. I
Mm.
need to though.
Yeah. Do you have any working projects with any celebrities in the works?
Yeah, I have Country Wayne. Um, interview with him should be coming up. I've interviewed already. I've interviewed Michael Blackson, Gary Owens, Coco Brown, Rodney Perry. algebra, truth hurts. Um, who else? DK from Love and Hip Hop. Um, I've interviewed a lot of people. Michael John White, Mike Hill, name a few.
Hmm. Pretty interesting though. So, how do you feel about your first live talk show?
Oh, I love it, man. It's on Tubi. I've actually uploaded uh, the Michael John White and the Mike Hill video. And when I first started out, people was trying to, push me to, just interview, regular people. I hate to say regular people because we all regular, right?
Hmm.
But people who are not considered to be celebrities. And they didn't think that I could actually hit celebrity. They thought it would be hard for me because I wasn't in that group. But it was kind of easy for me because once I set my mind to do something, I did it. I just reached out, told them, I reached out to Michael Blackson. He was my first celebrity that actually gave me a chance to sit down and interview with me, told him what I was trying to do. And believe it or not, I caught him on a good day, I guess.
That's
And
good.
yeah, gave me a shot.
Hmm. So, one last question. Have you done any motivational speeches?
Have I done any wet speeches?
Motivational speeches.
Motivational speeches. Everything I try to say, um, I try to say is to be motivational. Um, I've visited Ole Miss. I've also visited Jackson State University, many high schools, and to talk and to the kids, to push it, also to put the glass down, and also to think about your credit. A lot of people don't think about credit in high school. They think about how much money they're going to make, what career they can have um, to actually, make money. They don't think about credit. They may see my mom was a doctor, my mom was a lawyer, my mom was a nurse, my dad was a basketball player. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow in their footsteps. Or some people Google, what I used to do, Google jobs, and I used to say, let me see how much this person makes. They making 100 some thousand. That's what I want to do. This person making 35,000. That's not what I want to do. So we're thinking money in high school, but we're not thinking credit. So a lot of kids need to start thinking credit. Your cash, like grandma used to say, take your cash, invest it right, but also put it in a shoebox. Of course, we're going to put it in the shoebox for work. We have banks and things of that nature. So you want your money to work for you. But also, credit, use somebody else's money to make money.
Right.
Build your credit. Work on building your credit, building your credit score. Get you a credit card. Buy some candy with it each month. Buy some small, pay it off. Get you a credit card when you're 16, 18, and within 2 to 3, 5 years, you have good credit.
Is
No
there,
credit is worse than bad credit. Having no credit is almost worse than having bad credit.
right. So, is there any questions I left out that I could have asked?
Well, I think you did a good job, young man. I think you asked me a lot of good questions.
All
Um,
right.
you was very articulate, and if I was your teacher, I would give you an A. You was on point. You wasn't monotone. Very precise with everything you asked. So I like it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right?